Hello everyone, this is Ninja Guy underscore 12 here, bringing you a match in the Zeta Gundam Hyper Mega Launcher version. I managed to acquire this suit in my half-hop 10 spins on both my main and my alternate account. And I gotta say, I'm really happy I got this. It sure has some issues, but overall this is becoming a pretty good support. I'm gonna try and talk as much about this suit as possible, and then also have some talk about if you should use this over the Zeta plus C1, because that's the other suit that comes close to this in terms of like similar kind of aspects. So, before we continue, if you guys want to know the colors that I've used for either this match or the next match, you'll see. This one you're looking at right now is my personal colors. And the next match you'll see is the kind of Shin Matsunaga's Zeta, or Gray Zeta colors, which is in gray. It's very orange, but it's called the Gray Zeta. It's piloted by Shin Matsunaga. If you want to know those colors, you can ask me what those are in the comment section down below, or on my Discord server. Link to that's in the description. And if you want to make any GB02 request videos this month, you could also ask me on my Discord server. Remember, you get 2 free requests, you just have to be a part of the Discord server. Now, this Zeta Gundam Hyper Mega Launcher version is a 650 support at level 1. There is only level 1. And basically, this is the normal Zeta Gundam, just as a support. Basically, it has the new Hyper Mega Launcher, which is a big, dumb weapon. It has the Zeta Gundam beam rifle as a sub-weapon now, which for some reason only has 5 shots instead of 6. It has the extra grenade pack for the arm grenade, so you shoot up to 12 instead of 4, which is nice. So an extra 8 grenades for those. You do actually stagger with those if you hit enough. I think you have to hit at least 8 in order to actually stagger. I think. Don't quote me on that. And then of course you have the transformation. You got biosensor, which biosensor doesn't activate until like at least like below 5,000 HP, which at that point you might as well not even have it, because you're pretty much already gonna die at that point unless you get stupid lucky. So biosensor at such a low HP, not really worth it. And apparently you can actually dodge roll in the freaking biosensor mode, making this, I guess, technically the only support to ever dodge roll. So again, don't quote me on that, because I never really hit biosensor, and the few times I did, I usually died anyway before actually testing it. So the reason why I wanted to try and compare this to the Zeta plus C1, because its main weapon basically kind of acts the same. So this Hyper Mega Launcher, which is a very big weapon, can stagger uncharged, and heavy staggers fully charged, and does a lot of damage. It starts with, I think, 50-something range strength, and at with the parts I have, level 1 through 4, you could get up to at least 79 range strength, which is really high. But the difference between the Mega Launcher and the Zeta plus C1's Beam Smart Gun is the fact that you have to stand still. And also, this thing takes 10 whole seconds to charge, when, you know, you want to actually do the heavy stagger. Whereas Zeta plus C1, it takes like 3 seconds to do that. Plus, it takes way less time to cool down. It takes 30 seconds for the Hyper Mega Launcher to cool down after it's overheated. The Zeta plus C1 Beam Smart Gun only takes about, I think, half as much. So, yeah, you got that. The Beam Saber and Melee pattern, basically the same, and we just won that match. Really cool colors for that, the O right there. It's quite nice. You also have, you have the Head Vulcans, which you pretty much never see me use, ever. You have, of course, the Beam Rifle again, which only has 5 shots for no reason. And you also don't have access to the Long Beam Saber that the original Zeta Gundam had. So you don't have a really big, dumb melee weapon this time. Oh yeah, here's our launch animation. Look at that. Look at that gray Zeta, even though it's clearly orange. I don't know why they call it that. you got the obviously the arm grenade launchers, and pretty much the transformation as well. You can use, of course, the same beam guns as the normal Zeta. You have the beam rifle and the mega launcher. You can also use in your transform, but the weird thing about the mega launcher when you're transformed is the fact that you have to charge it in order to actually fire it. Unlike the Zeta plus C1, again, you could just you know, shoot it without having to stand still. Though this thing is probably better in some points because, of course, you have the biosensor that helps a lot. You have a shield which also helps, you know, for better defense. You got you know, a beam rifle that staggers people as a sub weapon, unlike Zeta plus C1, where basically your beam smart gun was your only weapon of stagger. Everything else didn't really stagger at all, unless you count your beam saber. And I feel like this one is just the more fun of the two because you have a lot more weapons and it's just a lot more fun. Zeta plus C1's been around for a while, so people know how to counter it. This one you kind of have to treat the same way. Is just kind of have to bait out the heavy stagger or just stagger it before it shoots. It is not that difficult to get around this, though. You stack on multiple Zeta plus, or not Zeta plus, but multiples of these. Man, it's gonna be hard. Even just 2 Mega Launcher Zetas are kinda annoying to fight, especially if you have at least 3 generals, which is a common norm to have for no reason. Yeah, 2 Mega Launchers that do like about 10k damage or more per charge shot on a general is gonna hurt a lot. So you got that going for you. As for the design, Zeta Gundam, I love it. I always love the Zeta Gundam. It's always going to be one of my favorite Gundams ever, along with the 00 Riser. Not really. I mean, it's 00 Gundam with the O Riser. It's still like this thing is pretty much always going to be one of my favorite Gundams ever, and Zeta Gundam's always going to be one of my favorite animes ever. But yeah, this thing is very, very fun. So if you guys actually want to try and get this, I would say go for it. It's not bad anyway. But if you want something a little bit easier to use and you want to use it at like 600 cost, go for the Zeta plus C1. That's also quite good. Or just go for the standard Zeta Gundam. Of course, you get lucky with the lottery, but any of those would be quite amazing. I mean, the Zeta Gundam itself is still quite a powerful mobile suit, especially with the long beam saber, which unfortunately this thing does not have. It also can't use the Hyper Mega Launcher as a giant beam saber, though I question why it would have that to begin with, because it seems kind of unwieldy, and that's me trying to answer a phone call, because I specifically remember calling my mom, and I was like, okay, I gotta hide real quick while I try to answer this call real quick. So, yeah, that's exactly what happened there. But still, I don't see this as a bad support at all. I see this quite fun. Though, I'm not sure if I'll still use this a lot, because I do have a Zeta plus C1 at level 2, which is 650, and I have a Phaz at level 2. And despite that, this thing is, I mean, despite all those other options, this thing's still probably the better one to use in some regard. I mean, the Phaz though is still really good. Don't get me wrong. If you have a Phaz, go and use it, man. Don't bother with this. Just use the Phaz. But if you have this one isn't bad at all. It's quite amazing. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and commentary, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you all later.